students interested in volunteering for the drama program, drama lighting. So that entails doing the drama, like the plays, helping at concert or school concerts, whatnot. I can go on and on about the events we do. Once they're into that program and we feel that they are properly trained, and if they did an event by themselves, they would be able to do it competently, we allow them, or we don't allow them, I mean, they can do it at any point, but we recommend to them that they have their papers filled out with the district to be able to, when someone rents out the auditorium, to be the lighting and sound person for that event. So yes, it is posted, my overall answer, yes, it is posted to all high school students, allowing one to join the lighting program. And we believe that way, people who are getting paid for lighting, which again isn't often, we know that they're going to do a good job.
So it's not really posted as a job, it's just come join our club.
It's both.
So that's different. And what adult decides that they're ready?
We
they're
have,
trained?
Jamie Bradley is the drama club advisor, and he's very, very good. He knows the system. He's there many nights. He's there with us. He watches it. He knows how to help us. So we do have an adult making sure that they're ready to go.
Okay, thank you. And the volunteer hours, I would hope that the volunteer hours are hours that are counted as to work they do after the school day and not during the school day, since during the school day they're actually getting an education, and volunteering would mean that they were giving up their own time when they're not really, they're in class. And my last question is, who's the insurance carrier for the district?
Mrs. Johnson, can you respond to that? Because I believe there are more than one.
Well, there's several, so
Okay.
I can't list them all off the top of my head. Do you have a specific one in mind?
Okay, vehicle insurance?
Liberty Mutual, ACE, and PSBA, one of those.
PSBA.
PSBA, I do believe.
What is it?
PSBA.
The Pennsylvania School
That's
Board
the
Association,
School Board
often they
Insurance
offer the
Company.
best
Okay.
rates for school board related insurance issues. That's not only in this district, that's true in numbers of other districts as well, including the vocational school and the intermediate here. So you'll see a lot of the insurance is underwritten by PSBA.
Okay. And liability insurance?
I'm sorry, I don't have that with me. I'll have to
Okay,
get
could I
back to you.
email you about it?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Did she make him She was lying.
Joan Cullen from Hilltown Township. First of all, thank you. I'm looking forward to being part of the steering committee. And I was going to just respond to Mrs. Herron's question personally, but then it occurred to me that probably a lot of you don't know me, and so maybe I should answer what she was asking about, which I believe was the special education credentials. I can't think of a better word right now. I have 5 children in Pennridge. I have 2 in elementary school, 1 in the middle school, and 2 in the high school. 4 of my children are special ed students in that they are in the gifted program, which does fall under special education. And I think people forget that sometimes, but it is one part of the special education program. They do receive IEPs like other special education students. But before I get to the, what you might call the traditional special education credentials, I do have a degree in secondary education, social studies. I was an instructor and a director of education for Sylvan Learning Systems, which is like Huntington Learning Centers. We remediated and enriched, but mostly we remediated. We took students in that had problems at school, and I was in charge of developing their learning programs, and I had goals that I had to meet for that. I worked with the National Science Teachers Association with their teacher workshop programs and student scholarship programs. I was a classroom teacher. My substitute teaching experience was on all grade levels with all abilities of students. I've been a camp counselor, and throughout all my years in Pennridge, when my kids were in school, I've been working with them and other students in the school. I've done where I've worked, I work with each student in the classroom. I've done longer term things where they were one-on-one with just one child over a longer period of time. But to get back to special education, it's actually something that's near and dear to my heart. It has been all of my life. I'm the 8th of 10 children in my family, and if you're from a big family and you're one of the little ones, as they call us, when I was a kid, my older brothers and sisters were already in high school. So as a little kid, I was taken over to what was Woodrow Wilson High School, and I spent my summers working with special education students, as did most of my brothers and sisters, and they still do. I volunteered as a special education camp counselor. I was a Special Olympics buddy. I think it came from my mom, my mom and dad. It's something that they kind of instilled in us, and when I think about this committee that I'm going to be serving on, it's going to be for all of the students. When I sit and think about what's best for the school district, I think not just what's good for my children, but how is it going to affect all the children? Like something that's currently banging around in my head is the Keystone exams. Maybe my child won't have a difficulty with the Keystone exam, but what if a child does? And that could cause him problems for graduation. I'm thinking about that. So I just wanted to put that out there that I do have experience with it, and it is something that's important to me. So, I will try to do the best that I can with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, Claire Steinberg, East Rockland Township. I'm confused. You're only going to play 4 games on the Hellman Field in the fall. Is that just football?
We only have 4 home football games total this fall.
Right.
In that sense, this is a very fortuitous year to be in the upheaval mode, I believe, simply because if you have 6 or 7, then you have 6 games disrupted or 7 games disrupted rather than just 4.
So nobody else plays at Hellman in the fall?
Didn't want it Papa Yoda.
Yes, other teams, if that's what you're asking.
So he was
Yes,
just
because we
mentioning,
have
he was just saying
men and women's
football.
lacrosse. Well, they're the ones who have,
Where's the
are
one at Papa
changing. Men and
Yoda?
women's lacrosse,
But that's what you'll have.
soccer teams play there, field hockey teams play there.
That's
All
not what
those
you told
teams
the
play there,
public.
And all, in my opinion, will profit
It's
from
facilities
having more
passed.
seating.
Yeah.
As a board member, when we come here, I think what we notice
Yes,
is
Poppy what?
there's a lack of parking, but what the parents notice is there's a lack of seating, probably.
No, I just wondered, because you just mentioned 4 games. I didn't know whether they're
No,
just
those are the 4
football.
football games
Okay.
that will need to be changed from where they have traditionally been.
Okay, I'm not sure if he was on, yeah, it was the March 24th meeting. I asked about the Papa Yoda bleachers, what was wrong with them. We could find out what's wrong with them. I asked if I could get a,
Mr. Spatafora, can you respond? I mean, I think that has been discussed, but certainly ADA compliance is one thing.
Right.
It's clearly wrong.
but what was wrong with them that needed to be taken down, is what I was asked. If I could get a readout of that, or the inspector's report, or whatever you want to call it.
The reports for the repairs were 975,000. I believe the board decided that they did not want to make those repairs.
Right, no, I don't want to know the cost, I want to know what was wrong with the bleachers. What's wrong with the bleachers?
Numerous items.
Well, including
Then why'd they say?
such things as access ramps for
Well,
disabled,
there's one access ramp on the whole side.
and it's not to spec. It does not meet ADA requirements.
Steel
In
structure.
terms,
You
okay?
can't get up.
Steel
I mean, there
structure.
was a report put out on this thing.
Could you turn your mic on, please?
Unfortunately, I was an engineer, but it seems to me that
Turn
we've
your mic
got
on.
a problem. For instance, you walk up a step, there's no riser behind the flat surface of the step, and there's supposed to be. So there's a whole series of things, the handrails, that all came out in.
Well, that's
in
what I was
your-
asking for. I never saw,
Tell us about it.
guess
There is a report.
where is it, where can that be found?
Say again?
Where can that be found, that report?
I think we need to check with our solicitor, our new solicitor, our old solicitor, that was confidential, and I don't think, maybe you can touch on that. I don't know if you know about it. It was submitted.
I don't know about the report, and I guess the speaker can test the limits of the right to know law if she wishes and get it that way. And the district can address any right to know request regarding that report as it would address any other request from a member of the public. I suggest, ma'am, that you try that avenue respectfully.
Well, I asked that question on the March 24th meeting, they said they'd get back to me, and they haven't.
Well, but I'm just saying, you have the right
They
under
could've
law,
told me that
you
then.
have the right under law to request documents, so
Okay.
I suggest respectfully that you test those waters.
Okay. Do we know how we got our new lawyer here? You put out to bid, or is that how you call it? Do you do that for engineering?
It's not out to bid. It's
I don't
a
know.
service, so we put out an RFP.
Okay.
And we interviewed actually 4 different groups of lawyers for
Right.
the solicitor and picked from among those 4.
Right, I didn't
And they
just
have
that.
different price structures, they offer different services. So this was the choice, the overwhelming choice of the board was Mr. Cox. For better or worse, he now will be.
I wasn't referring to that
No,
process.
that is the
Do we
process.
do that for engineering
We
companies?
can do that for any of the services, and we did it, as I mentioned, for the auditor. And indeed chose to retain or renew the relationship with the existing auditor because of the results that came in. So any of those services can be done, yes.
Okay, well,
But does not have to be.
No, that's at the discretion of the board.
so we're enlisting other companies' help, we don't have to,
When a school district or any other public body is considering hiring a firm or a person for professional services, they do not have to put that service out to bid. They can choose to. They can decide to issue what's called a request for proposals. And they can base their decision on a number of factors, including price, quality of service, etc. But the idea is when you're hiring an attorney or an engineer or an architect or a construction manager or a doctor, for instance, you don't necessarily just want to go with the cheapest firm or person
Right.
because the service is of such a nature that quality is paramount. So you have the ability, you have the authority to go with a firm that's maybe a little bit more expensive, but that you conclude is going to offer you a better service. So that's the distinction with respect to a professional service, say versus the installation of piping in a building, where the district has to bid that and go with the lowest responsible bidder to meet spec. So that's that distinction.
right, I was just wondering if we'd ever done that for engineering, for our engineering firm.
We indeed did. It's been some years ago, but yes, indeed, there was an RFP put out. And at that time, the choice was Dewey, and they have retained that position since. And like anything else in the professional services arena, if enough board members, a majority of the board members change their mind or want to go through that process again, they can. We can.
When was the last time?
I can't tell you, it's been quite a number of years ago.
Over 10?
2
years?
2 years ago, Mr. Mack had us proposals. There were 20 of them.
Okay. And who got the bleacher bid?
What, I'm sorry?
Who got the bleacher bid?
The name of the firm?
Yes.
J.L. Watts. J.L. Watts Excavation, Inc. I believe they've done work for the district before, if I recall.
WATTS?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Right, anyone else? If not, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.